Walt Disney brought the art of animation from the silent, black and white shorts of the 1920s to the rich, full-length feature films of the 1960s. Although he didn't live to see the digital age, Walt Disney was instrumental in the development of modern-day movies and TV. Disney strived to entertain children and parents alike, bringing together well-developed plots and characters, memorable music and sound, and breathtaking imagery. He always dreamed of inventing the next great thing in entertainment, and Walt Disney's glories, Disneyland and Disney World, are still the most popular theme parks in the world. In 1910, Elias Disney sold the farm and moved to Kansas City, where he bought a newspaper delivery business. Walt and Roy were given jobs to deliver the Kansas City Star and other papers. When Walt was 14 years old, his parents enrolled him in art classes at the Kansas City Art Institute. In 1917, Watt took a summer job that made a lasting impression. He sold concessions on the Santa Fe Railroad, where he developed a love of trains. After that, he attended McKinley High School back in Chicago. At McKinley, Walt contributed drawings to the school paper and continued his art instruction. When Walt was 16, he wanted to enlist in World War I, but he wasn't old enough. However, he found a way to join the war effort by becoming a Red Cross ambulance driver. It's said that young Walt decorated his unit's ambulance with cartoons. Early career making commercials. In 1919, Walt returned to the US and started a job at the Kansas City Slide Company, where they made commercials using crude stop-action animation. Walt and animator Ub Works left to start their own enterprise, which they called Lovograms. With almost 60 episodes of the Alice comedies completed, Walt decided to change course and concentrate on full animation without actors. So he and Ubi developed a new cartoon character called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, who bear a resemblance to Mickey Mouse but with long ears and funny feet. That series became very successful, but due to the Eagle issue over who owned the rights to the Oswald name, Disney had to stop working on it. Mickey Mouse's Bird. Not one to let a setback keep him down for long. Walt Disney quickly started working on a new character with Ubi, Mickey Mouse. Back in those days, there were only silent black and white movies. But on October 23, 1927, Warner Bros. Released the first movie with sound, or talkie, the jazz singer, and it rocked the motion picture industry, prompting Disney to go back to the drawing board and figure out a way to add sound to his animated films. In 1928, Mickey Mouse debuted in Steamboat Willie, the first cartoon with a fully synchronized soundtrack. Walt himself was the voice of Mickey Mouse and continued to voice the character for nearly 20 years. The following year brought the Great Depression, but Mickey Mouse was a huge success and became an international star with the help of his friends. Pluto released in 1930, Goofy in 1932, and Donald Duck in 1934. Through the Depression and World War II. In 1929, Disney released another animated series called The Silly Symphonies and used that vehicle to introduce the first full-color animated feature, using Technicolor, called Flower and Trees. Then Disney took a big gamble and produced the first animated full-length feature film, Responsibility, at a young age. Walter Elias Disney was born on December 5, 1901 in Chicago, Illinois. He was the fourth son of Elias and Flora Disney. Later a daughter, Hope, was born. In 1906, the family moved to a small farm outside Marceline, Missouri. Young Walt and his brother, Roy, were expected to help out with farm chores. While on the farm, Walt began drawing. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937. The Disney artists worked on it for over 3 years, inventing new animation techniques including the multiplane camera to solve the unique challenges of a feature film. Snow White opened a few days before Christmas and was an overnight success. Next came Pinocchio in 1940, Fantasia including The Scarer's Apprentice in 1940, Dumbo in 1941, and Bambi in 1942. America's entry into World War II brought a series of military contracts to make short instructional films. Saludos Amigos in 1943 and The Three Caballeros in 1945. After the war, the Golden Age as America celebrated the end of World War II, Walt Disney Studios entered its Golden Age. Cinderella was released in 1950 and Alice in Wonderland in 1951. Then came Peter Pan in 1953, Lady and the Tramp in 1955, Sleeping Beauty in 1959, 101 Dalmatians in 1961, and The Sword in the Stone in 1963. In the fall of 1966, Disney learned that he had advanced huge cancer. The Jungle Book 1966 was the last animated feature he overproduced. It was not quite finished when he died on December 15, 1966 at the age of 65. Live-action movies and TV. Walt Disney's first real breakthrough in live-action movies was Song of the South in 1946. More success came with Treasure Island, one of 4 dramas filmed in the British Isles. In 1949, Seal Island won an Oscar for Best Short Subject and launched the True Life Adventure series. More than a dozen nature documentaries filmed between 1950 and 1960. Other popular movies were 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, 1954, Swiss Family Robinson, 1960, The Shaggy Dog, 1959, The Absent-Minded Professor, 1961, Pollyanna in 1960, and The Parent Trap in 1961. In 1964, Mary Poppins was released and became one of the greatest hits in the history of motion pictures. Walt Disney wisely retained the television rights to all of his movies. Davy Crockett was his first TV series, and a big success in 1954. ABC was chosen to broadcast the shows. In return, they agreed to invest in Disneyland, a new theme park that was on the drawing board. Another tremendously popular TV series was The Mickey Mouse Club, on air from 1955 to 1959. Disneyland and Walt Disney World, the idea for an amusement park that would be as entertaining for adults as it would be for children, percolated in Walt Disney's mind for many years. Formal planning of the first park started in 1952. A site was chosen in Anaheim, California. Disneyland opened on July 17, 1955, with a railroad around its perimeter, a beaconing Main Street, and the spectacular Cinderella Castle on the horizon. Disney started planning a second park on the East Coast and envisioned something even larger. It would be a self-contained vacation land including hotels, campgrounds, and golf courses. It would have Epcot, experimental prototype community of tomorrow, a city designed to be always 25 years ahead of its time. Disney himself chose the site near Orlando, Florida, but died before breaking ground. Walt Disney World was opened by Walt's brother, Roy Disney, in October of 1971 with these words: Walt Disney World is a tribute to the philosophy and life of Walter Elias Disney, and to the talents, dedication, and the loyalty of the entire Disney organization that made Walt Disney's dream come true. May Walt Disney World bring joy and inspiration and new knowledge to all who come to his happy place, a magic kingdom where the young at heart of all ages can laugh and play and learn.